Half of new car sales electrified. Fleet registrations up 17% by Gareth Roberts, 4th of October 2025. First of all, can I just thank those of you who've used the link in my description to advertise the cars on the motorway. As you know, you get 50 quid and I get 50 quid if you choose to accept the winning offer, that is. So, all helps. I'm retired now, you know what I mean? Thank you very much. 50.8% of all new vehicles registered during the crucial new number plate month were electrified. New figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders SMMT show. Those paragons of virtue. Plug-in hybrids, FEVs. Plug-in hybrids, FEVs, with the fastest growing powertrain. Really? Fastest growing powertrain? So that'd be like petrol then, would it? Because nobody, the evangelists, they're the first to admit FEVs aren't electric vehicles. So the petrols. So not really the fastest growing, are they? There's just petrols with a little electric motor on that nobody uses. And they make a charging cable for it that nobody plugs in. It's just a waste of materials. You may as well forget about the electric motor on it and the big battery that you're then carrying round, which apparently is the weight of two guys that you never use. It probably means that you're getting fewer miles to the gallon than you would do if it wasn't a FEV. World's gone crazy, hasn't it? Plug-in hybrids, FEVs, were the fastest growing powertrain, rising 56.4% to achieve a 12.2% market share, while hybrid electric vehicles, HEVs, comprised 15.3% of deliveries. Market share and deliveries. Battery electric vehicles, BEV, uptake grew by 29.1%, on par with the growth seen so far this year. With 72,779 registrations, it was the best month on record for BEV volumes, accounting for almost there's that number again. Accounting for almost 1 in 4 new cars sold, 23.3%. Driven by manufacturer discounting and the introduction of the electric grant, qualifying models, which comprise about 25% of available BEVs, enjoyed growth in uptake that outpaced the overall electric market. So again, the ones that are selling are the ones that people are being bribed to buy with a £1,500 discount or a £3,750 discount. Zero emission vehicles now comprise more than 1 in 5, 22% new cars registered so far in this year. Overall, the UK new car market rose by 13.7% in September to reach 312,887 registrations. Again, registrations, not sales. The strongest for the new plate month since September 2020, with fleet and business registrations taking the lion's share. There were 181,887 new cars registered to fleet and business in the month, a 17% uplift on the 154,967 units in September 2024. So do you think that could account for the overall rise, that more vehicles are kind of being pre-registered than they were last year? Private consumer demand also rose up 8.9% to 131,000 units. As a result, fleet and business registrations accounted for 58% of the new car market in September, a 2 percentage point increase on the 56% reported in the same month last year. Year to date, fleet and business new car registration hold a 61% market share, unchanged year on year. In the first 9 months of this year, 961,199 new cars have been registered to fleet and business, a 4% increase on the 925,478 units over the same period last year. Private, 131,000 in 2025, in 2024, 120,272. Percentage change 8.9%, up from 149,095 in 2024 to 174,335 in 2025. Business up from 5,872 in 2024 to 7,552 in 2025. September typically accounts for around 1 in 7 annual registrations, and the strong performance offers a welcome boost after a summer slowdown, says the SMMT. Mike Hawes, SMMT Chief Executive, said electrified vehicles are powering market growth after a sluggish summer, and with record ZEV uptake, massive industry investment is paying off. Massive industry investment is paying off, despite demand still trailing ambition. Well, I have to tell you that discounts and subsidies aren't investment. They are costs. That's the cost to do business. They are buying business. It's not investment. And it's not, when you discount things, it's not stuff that pays off in the future. It's not investment that's building a network, making things better for those people to come back, because they won't. The electric car grant will help to break down one of the barriers holding back more drivers from making the switch, and tackling remaining roadblocks by unlocking infrastructure investment and driving down energy costs will be crucial to the success of the industry and the environmental goals we share. Boosting demand is critical, with an ongoing gap between EV uptake and government targets, says the SMMT. So again, my favourite person hitting the ZEV targets isn't proving impossible so far. Yes, it is. While rising electrified vehicle volumes can also help, it argues that private buyers, who account for fewer than 1 in 4, 24.5% new BEV registrations year to date, must be re-energised with more confidence to switch to zero-emission motoring. Tom Groot, CEO of the electric car scheme, says that the figures represent a positive step for the EV industry, but more importantly lays a foundation for a potentially transformative Q4 for BEV registrations. Well, they're behind. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that they're behind. They can only catch up in Q4. So there's going to be some massive discounts already. They've already shot themselves in the foot in September. And I'll show you in a second. In fact, I can't believe it. The added incentive of government grants to increase affordability of EVs even further, combined with the existing salary sacrifice, will hopefully push the industry over the affordability tipping point. Uptake of EVs is limited more than anything else by the upfront cost of the cars. For some leasing a Ford Puma Gen E, one of the EVs that qualify for the full grant through salary sacrifice, the savings are over £8,000 over the course of the lease. This discount will make a significant difference for many drivers who are already on the verge of making the jump to electric cars over the next few months. Fossil fuel technologies, by contrast, continued to shrink. Diesel car registrations fell by a third compared with last September, capturing a meagre 4% of the market, their weakest September in the last quarter of a century. Now, they're still behind. They've had a record month in September, but they're still behind. And for each electric vehicle they fall short of the target, they'll be fined £12,000 or have to buy credits off Tesla or one of the Chinese EV makers or one of the Chinese EV makers. £12,000 or buying carbon credits from a country who is trying to undercut your vehicles and force you into the gutter. I couldn't do it. I couldn't buy carbon credits off the Chinese. There's just no way. I'd rather shut the place down. I really would. Diesel car registrations fell by a third compared with last September, capturing a meagre 4%. However, diesels are going up in cap, and that can only mean one thing: that people want them. This is second-hand diesels. New diesels aren't as readily available as they used to be. People have stopped making diesels. There's no point making them, is there? That, you know, if you're not allowed to sell them. But the used ones, they're going up. Land Rover Discovery, I think it was a 15 plate, went up 13 or 1400 quid last month. It went up 5%. Now, they don't go up because people don't want them. Petrol also slipped while PHEVs grew by just under 32% in the year to date, helping push the combined plug-in share to just under 1 in 3. They don't plug them in. Kiara Cook, research manager at New Automotive, said cars, vans and even HGVs all posted new records, proving that electrification is no longer just a passenger car story. Now, that's a good choice of words, story, but a transition happening across the whole road transport sector. The overall message is clear. Across every segment, electric vehicles are winning market share, while petrol and diesel continue to decline. Buyer sentiment towards EVs. Over a third, 36% of future car buyers, say they will not consider an EV for their next vehicle, with almost 1 in 3, 29% from this group, citing concerns about higher running costs as a key reason behind this. So let's just look. We'll go to AutoTrader, we'll go to electric cars, we'll search the electric cars, then we'll just put a couple of filters in. So we don't want relevance, we want fuel, we want year up to 2025, and we want mileage. We'll say up to 100, and then we'll search. Now, you will notice that I've got no adverts appearing, no you may also like, no leasing. My AutoTrader search is a whole lot better. So these are the most recent. This is advertised here, 4th of 10, 2025. Arnold Clark. In my opinion, Arnold Clark, you can forget cap and you can forget AutoTrader. Arnold Clark control used car prices. They've got so many vehicles, they just decide what they want to charge. But you'll see here, 3 miles, 2025 75 reg, just advertised today. And then we go down, overview, description. Registered the 23rd of the 9th, 2025. Then BYD Sea Lion, we'll see when they were registered. BYD, they're selling so well, you know. 30th of the 6th, 2025. That was when 30% of all vehicles registered were registered on the last day. So there's 2 BYDs there, and they were 2025 25s. Then we're back on to 2025 75s. MGS5. (11th of the 9th, 2025). So again, pre-registered. And the argument here is that they knew they weren't going to get anywhere near the target in September. Otherwise, they would have just waited till the last day of the month, when they knew exactly how many cars they had to register, how many petrol vehicles they'd sold and made a good profit on. As to how many electric vehicles, they would have to pre-register and blow a fortune. Just to demonstrate the state of the market, you'll see here there's a Lotus Electra, nearly new, 2025 75. We'll see when that was registered. And this, I think it will be, yeah, Hendy. It's from Hendy. was registered on the 26th of the 9th, 2025. Now Lotus, they're not very, they're not very popular, are they? You wouldn't expect to see a load of those new. But let me just show you this, because it shocked me. Make a model, any. Go down to Lotus. Lotus, lots of trouble, usually serious. 34. Look at this. Listed today, 4th of 10th, 2025. Saved £22,665. Hendy, Eastleigh. Another one here. Another one. 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 Another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. Another one, that's from Bracknell. Then we're back to Eastleigh, 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 Mayfair, Eastleigh, 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 Eastleigh. Save 39,464. Hendy, Eastleigh have, from my calculations, £2,664,689 worth of used Lotuses, nearly 2.75 million of delivery mileage, pre-registered Lotuses. What business can stand that? That's Lotus. When Volvo have to pre-register vehicles, it's very, very bad. Now look at this. We'll knock off Lotus. We'll put Volvo. See there, Volvo. They've got 283 used electric vehicles with less than 100 miles on. The highest out of all the vehicle manufacturers, Vauxhall is 176, Volvo 283. Advertised today. 10 miles. (26th of 9th, 2025). 283. Delivery mileage Volvos. Let me just make sure that's still on most recent. Yes, it is. And then we'll go down to the bottom. And you'll see there, these are 2025 25s. So now they've registered. No doubt that would have been registered in March when the new reg come out. Let me just check. Yep, there you go, 13th of the 3rd, 2025. So, they pre-registered those in March when the new registration came out to get the figures up or to reduce them in price to try and sell them. They haven't done. So it's a brand new vehicle. The only difference is the registration number. Instead of 25, it's got 75. That vehicle's been reduced by 5,255. Already reduced, but because of the new registration, all their old ones have been reduced. It's knock-on effect. Look at that one, 14 grand off that one. Let's drop 12,950, 3,000, 12 grand, 5 grand, 2,900, 7,511, 3,850, 4,900. So they've pre-registered 283 electrics. So we go to hybrids. Another 110. Again, listed yesterday, 2025 75. What an absolute state. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.